from West Tennessee's news channel. This is 7 Eyewitness News at 10.
We begin tonight with breaking news as Jackson police investigate a murder in Midtown. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Douglas.
And I'm Kelly McAllister. Police say the details are very sketchy at this point, but they are asking for help, not only identifying the killer, but the victim. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Daniel Wilkerson joins us live along Highland Avenue, where the victim was found. Daniel?
Brad, Kelly, we are here at North Highland, just north of North Highland and Crescent Street. Police have just cleared the scene. They say the initial call came through as a burglary in progress. However, when they arrived, they found a man lying on the ground. Now, with no records on the man in their system, police want to make sure you take a good look at this picture of the man who was fatally shot. His driver's license shows he's 27-year-old Lionel Deshaun Harris of Marion, Arkansas. They say other documents found on the man, found on his person, show him as Lionel Isom. We talked to investigators just moments ago who shared with us what they know for sure at this point.
We have information that 2 individuals chased the individual that was here deceased across the street. He seemed to be the target. You know, it seemed to be an actual attempt to get him or get him stopped.
Again, this is a picture of the man who was fatally shot tonight. With no apparent ties to the community, police need your help in tracking his movements before he was shot. If you can help, you're asked to call Jackson Police or Crime Stoppers. Now, of course, this is a developing story. We hope to have more developments for you as they become available to us. Live in Midtown Jackson, Daniel Wilkerson, 7 Eyewitness News.
A Madison County deputy behind bars. Chad Lewis is accused of not only kidnapping his ex-wife from her Jackson home overnight, but handcuffing her and stabbing her in the chest.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Kelly McAllister. Jackson police have confirmed Lewis used his unmarked Madison County Sheriff's Department squad car in the kidnapping, then switched vehicles before the stabbing. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Natalie Potts joins us now live with the story. Natalie?
We have breaking news now from the 7 Eyewitness Newsroom. Police are looking for a suspect in the robbery of a West Jackson convenience store. It happened just before 9 o'clock tonight. According to initial reports, a man walked into the Phillips 66 convenience store in the 1900 block of the bypass just before 9, armed with a gun and demanding money. Reports also indicate that shots were fired at the clerk. However, there were no reports of injuries. Investigators say the suspect is a black man with dark complexion, medium build, and weighed about 180 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black jacket with brown fur around the collar and was also wearing a white toboggan. He also left running south from the area. If you have any information on this robbery, call Jackson Police or Crime Stoppers.
This house on Hartsbridge Road suffered some of the worst damage in Madison County when a tree fell on it, ripping part of the structure away. Winds during the brunt of the storm reached 60 miles per hour. The good news, no one was hurt. In fact, according to emergency management officials, no injuries have been reported throughout Madison County. Though most damage was in the southeast portion of Jackson and Madison County, like here on Rebel Road, where we found trees that had been toppled. Emergency officials tell us they received damage and calls of trees down throughout the area, spanning all the way to Windy City Road. The owners of this property on Chester Levee Road told us she walked out after the storm eased up to find one of her largest trees that sits just a few feet from her house had toppled onto her garden.
We were scared. The kids were screaming. We were scared, so I'm just glad it didn't hit the house. So we're lucky.
At one time, thousands of JEA customers were without power late this afternoon, but at last report, the utility company had restored power to most everyone. Throughout West Tennessee, the damage seemed to mirror what was experienced here in the hub city. The Thomas family in Atwood shared this picture with us of a tree in their yard that looks to have taken a lightning strike, that is. Again, the good news, we've received no reports of injuries from today's severe thunderstorms.
Well, things are much quieter for us as we look out across the area. A little bit of fog here and there because of the rainfall that we had earlier today, the cooler temperatures as well in the mix. But things look like they're going to be pretty nice tonight. Still could see 1 or 2 little showers, but as we take a look outside, we've got a pretty decent night. It's still kind of damp, so be careful if you're going to be driving later on. This look outside brought to you by La Paloma Treatment Center.
A Jackson couple is behind bars tonight after a raid on their home on North Cumberland netted more than $600 in cash and 26 pounds of marijuana valued at almost $42,000. 34-year-old Cherish Bryce and 32-year-old Yakima Whiteside were arrested yesterday. Police need help finding another suspect who was with Bryce but able to get away with a black duffel bag. He's described as a black man with a medium complexion between 25 and 30, about 5'6", with a stocky build and short hair. Call Crime Stoppers if you can help.
Another big story you've been reacting to, the torture killing of a puppy in Dresden, allegedly at the hands of two teenagers. 19-year-old Levi Evans and 18-year-old Preston Odell are charged with aggravated animal cruelty after police say they kicked, stabbed, and used wire to hang a 4-month-old St. Bernard puppy from a tree last week. It's a story that has many of you speaking out on Facebook. Melanie J. wrote, maybe their punishment should be the same as how they treated the puppy. Viewer Donna M. agrees, writing, I truly believe they deserve to be treated the exact way they treated that poor puppy. Just so sad that these boys don't have any feelings, writes Pearl A. To be able to do something so cruel is just unthinkable. We also learned today that the hearing for Levi Evans and Preston Odell has been pushed back to June 13th in Weakley County General Sessions Court. The father of the Madison County Sheriff's deputy accused of kidnapping and trying to kill his ex-wife talks about why he believes the charges will never stick. Your news starts now.
Now, from West Tennessee's News Channel, this is 7 Eyewitness News at 10.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Kelly McAllister. We begin tonight with an exclusive interview with the father of now former Madison County Deputy Chad Lewis. Lewis is accused of kidnapping and stabbing his ex-wife. This morning, the 29-year-old Metro Narcotics officer appeared in Jackson City Court, where he was officially charged with especially aggravated kidnapping, attempted first-degree murder, aggravated domestic assault, and tampering with evidence. We also learned in court the victim told officers Lewis threatened to kill her and her children if she didn't tell medics she stabbed herself. His bond was set at $150,000, and the judge told him he had to turn over his firearms. Lewis is accused of driving his unmarked patrol car to his ex-wife's North Jackson home and kidnapping her early yesterday morning. At his home in West Jackson, he's said to have put her in his truck, and while driving past the Coca-Cola plant, officers say Lewis reached over and stabbed her in the chest. He's then said to have driven all the way to Henderson before taking her to an ambulance station in handcuffs. Lewis attorney Joe Bird tells us his client is innocent.
We don't know anything about how she got stabbed. We just know she got stabbed, and we know he's the person that sought medical attention for her.
Family members of the 25-year-old mother of two tell us she is alert and in stable condition at a Memphis hospital, but that she's in a lot of pain. As our team coverage continues, we turn now to 7 Eyewitness News reporter Megan Pinkley with her exclusive interview with Chad Lewis's father. Megan?
Kelly, Lewis's father says these allegations are crazy. He believes his son is not only incapable of something like this, but he wants the truth to come out and his good name cleared.
Charles Lewis says as far as he knows, his son has never told him a lie.
If something happened when he was a kid growing up and you had to find out the truth, Chad will always tell the truth. Chad's not going to lie to you.
As far as Lewis's 4 charges, including attempted first-degree murder and especially aggravated kidnapping, his family thinks they're absurd.
Because of the nature of Chad. Chad's not the type of person to do something like this.
Well, for one, I mean, I'm in shock that all this has happened, period. But, I mean, I've known Chad for years, and anybody that knows Chad knows what an honest, laid-back guy he was. I mean, I've never heard anybody even mad at Chad.
But according to court documents, his ex-wife said Lewis handcuffed her, stabbed her, and made threats to kill her and her 2 children, including their 4-year-old son.
There's no doubt that he would ever do anything to hurt any of them. He loved Heather very much.
Davis adds that although the couple was divorced, they were still dating, and up to about 3 weeks ago, they were actually living together until he kicked her out.
Friends say they've been divorced for 2 years, though their relationship has been on and off for the last 5.
I can't picture in my mind that he would ever be mad enough or out of his mind enough to do something like that.
Lewis says he has not had the time to talk to his son about what happened because they've been busy with hiring an attorney and gathering bail money.
The time will come that we'll sit down and talk about it, but I already know. I know Chad well enough. I mean, I'm his dad. I've known him all his life. And
Lewis adds that even though his son is out of jail, he is not going anywhere, and he hopes the truth comes out in the courtroom. Chad Lewis is scheduled to return to court on August 9th. Megan Pinkley, 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Megan. Chad Lewis is released from jail on $150,000 bond just 3 hours after appearing in court today, has caused much concern from advocates against domestic violence. They argue in cases like Lewis's, bonds need to be much higher, and his case should bring this to light. The executive director at the Women's Resource and Rape Assistance Program, or WRAP, says she understands judges have limits on setting bonds, but thinks this is a good time to look at raising the dollar amounts for domestic abuse cases,
so that we can maybe have higher bond set for these type of I mean, there's so many multiple crimes here that it just seems like it would be, when it's more than one especially, it looks like we should have something that's a little bit stiffer than what we have right now.
Cole says she plans to take her idea to the State Domestic Violence Council in hopes of change. New at 10, a Madison County attorney has been told by the state Supreme Court that he can no longer practice law. The court has transferred Roger Staten to what's called disability inactive status. According to the court rule, that means the attorney has been declared incompetent or is alleged to be incapacitated. No further reason was given for the court's decision. Staten may be reinstated only after proving to the state's high court that he's fit to resume the practice of law. A rather strange call for help this morning sent officers rushing to a home in East Jackson. Officials at a local hospital say a man called from this house this morning asking how to treat a gunshot wound. When police arrived around 8 this morning, the man said while in Lexington a few hours before, he'd heard gunshots but didn't realize he'd been hit until then. Police in Lexington tell us they responded to calls from people hearing gunfire last night in the Spring Street area and actually spoke with the victim. No arrests have been made at this time. Officers in Haywood County say a serious case of animal abuse has cost 5 dogs their lives and has 5 puppies on the mend from malnutrition and an infestation of ticks. Tips from concerned neighbors is what sent officers to the home and business. We do want to warn you, some of the footage you're about to see may be disturbing. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Madupe Idowu has the story.
These 5 lab mixed puppies are glad to be at the Haywood County Animal Shelter.
The situation that these dogs were living in, and it was unbelievable.
Haywood County officials recovered the pups from this home and business. They've charged the owner of Davis Auto Salvage, Joe Alvis Davis, with animal cruelty. Just last week, thanks to tips from residents who spotted what appeared to be abused dogs.
I lifted up his ears and it was just all ticks. Ticks covered this side, ticks covered that side. And they were inside their ear canals, and I mean, it was horrible.
The pictures you see here are what some officials call heartbreaking. As you can see the rib cages of these 2 adult dogs. Officials found 3 more adult labs like these.
They were undernourished, they had heartworms, they were just very just skin and bones, basically is what they were. And those animals, because of their condition medically, they had to be euthanized.
And while the adult dogs didn't make it, little ones like these did.
Come on, Toots.
And officials say they're getting better each day.
To see them come as far as they have within the last few weeks, it's really awesome.
Now officials are doing everything they can to make sure these puppies are placed in a loving home. In Haywood County, Madupe Idowu, 7 Eyewitness News.
The puppies, which are lab mixes, will be available for adoption after Davis appears in court on June 19th. Still ahead, after Miss Pennsylvania stepped down claiming the contest was rigged, Donald Trump gave her a deadline to apologize or else. And then find out why these monster trucks are rolling their way through the hub city. Stay with us.